Hello everybody, and welcome. We are here at the War Memorial in Ottawa, Canada, and I'm here with the lovely, how about you introduce yourself?
I'm Wayne Peters. I run a platform called What's Up Canada. We're across pretty much all of the mainstream media platforms. I just try to give a voice to the common people and take a kitchen table talk approach to stuff.
Yeah, no, I love your show. It's a great show. Check it out on YouTube, What's Up Canada. And I saw your interview recently, or your show recently, where you were at the Ottawa courthouse, and they had locked everybody out of the courthouse when they were passing the bylaw. If you wanted, can you tell a little bit more about that?
It was one of the things that this group that I'm here with is doing is they're trying to shed light for so many of the other groups that are fighting for Canada on different platforms and different topics. And this past week, the mask issue has been really front and foremost for a lot of people. So Wednesday, we knew here in Ottawa that they were voting on their bylaw to make the masks mandatory. So we organized an event at City Hall for 11 o'clock, and then we found out late the night before that they were actually meeting at 9 o'clock. And it was supposed to be a public meeting. So we went down there with no ill intent, no intention to disrupt. We just wanted to sit in and listen to see, so we could get firsthand, firsthand information on how this was going to go. And we got there, and not only was it locked up, the security would not let people inside of the building. There was one fellow who wanted a drink of water from the fountain in there. They would not even let him in to get a drink of water. This was how locked down City Hall was this past Wednesday.
Okay.
So that was kind of a real eye-opener for people, I think, and a lot of people have been talking about that ever since.
Interesting. And so, and you're here, you're not far from the City Hall actually. It's just a block to our left over here. And you're here camping out at the War Memorial, and you're with the Canadian Revolution.
I'm here embedded with the Canadian Revolution, and it's one of the things that we're trying to get people to understand about what they're doing here is this is not a protest, it's not a rally, they're not camping. This is here, these people are here for a movement. They are armed to the teeth with information about the crimes that are being committed by our government and successive governments for the last 90 years.
Yeah. And
so they've been really working really hard, reaching out to the local community and getting an amazing response to. I'm really surprised, being a Westerner here doing this in downtown Ottawa, that the response has been so positive from the local people.
And the police.
And the police and the military. We get regular visits from the police and the military, and I can't really say anything on the record because they're not allowed to speak on the record, but they are unquestioningly in support of the things that we're doing and the way that we're doing it. We get compliments all the time on how well we're keeping the grounds. We do garbage cleanup across the whole perimeter around the campsite. This piece of land here is significant. There's vets in this camp, and they understand what the Canadians are fighting for, and it's really, to put it down to brass tacks, it's freedom. And there's no more significant piece of dirt in Canada to stand for freedom than this monument right here. So this is why we are here, not just there's some misconception that we're here to protect the monument from vandals. No, that's not it. We don't expect any vandals, but what we do is expect a free Canada. And we're not going to go away until these people are either drug away violently or there is change and Canadians are set free. So that's kind of the line in the sand that these guys are taking, and I have nothing but respect and admiration for this small group of people there's 9 people in this camp, and they have reached millions of people globally already. Every night at 8 o'clock we do a live stream from the camp here with updates. And the people that are following from Indonesia, Singapore, Germany, Africa, all over the place.
Wow.
It's hard, really empowering.
And that's great to hear. 2 things there that I heard. It's peaceful. It's really key. It's very peaceful. When you say you have the police and the military also, being very positive towards what you're doing, and the public, just the general public walking by all the time. And anyway, we can go on and on about that. But also just knowing that globally, because truly it's the independent media that is getting any kind of news out to the world. You know, the MSM, the mainstream media, that will never cover any of these things going on, or the true crimes here in Canada. It's about time that it's great to hear that you're getting the views that you need to get, but we of course would always like more views.
Well, this is creating an interesting situation, because within a 5-minute walking distance from where we're encamped, there are all of the mainstream media outlets. All of their main offices are here. We have seen them twice across the street set up and filming the office buildings there, but they refused to turn their camera around in our direction.
Right.
So now, after 18 days of being here, the locals have been watching their news. They're not seeing anybody talk about it, so they are coming down to find out what is going on.
Oh, interesting.
And they are leaving with smiles and words like, "This is so refreshing."
Yes, exactly. And that's some of the work that I've been doing. I've been hearing the same thing from a lot of people, like we met on July 1st, or just the comments that they are just so supportive, refreshing. Finally, other Canadians, hearing.
It's meaningful discussion. It's not virtue signaling and pandering, right? These are concerns that people have that are not being addressed by anybody at any level of government.
Absolutely. It seems to be that way. And so, I'm just glad that we can get this out there. And if you want to know more, please go to What's Up Canada, Amina M on YouTube. Between us all, we're sharing all kinds of different perspectives. And truly, to make any kind of assumption about anything, or just learn more, learn all perspectives, not just from one stream of media like mainstream media. Get out there and take action, take initiative on your own to educate yourself.
Exactly, and that's really the foundation of what this is all about. There's 30 or 40 signs out here that highlight different issues and crimes that are not being addressed, and every one of them is open to the public to go and research more and in depth on these things. These are just talking points that matter to Canadians. They want addressed, they want answers, and they're not getting it from anywhere else.
Yeah.
So through little small media outlets like what you're doing and what we're doing, we're able to set people in the direction as to where they can find the answers, because so much of this stuff has been hidden from Canadians. That's, to me, the biggest crime spree in Canadian history.
100%. Our human rights, we're not exercising them, and we're not realizing how we can do that and know what they are. So make Canada righteous and godly again. I love that t-shirt. That's beautiful.
It was a gift from one of the persecuted street preachers in Toronto that we were covering events last year.
Okay.
And that was so many of these things that are happening, they're not reaching the world. They're not hearing about how Christian preachers are getting beat up in the streets or being arrested or any of these things. I mean, that's just, there's endless stories like this out there, and that's just what we're trying to do.
There's interesting things going on. I just heard a story that, a woman was having a hard time here the other day, right across the street from where we're sitting. Like, I'm looking at the area, and she had a hard time, so 911 was called, paramedics were called in, but what happened?
Interestingly enough, we were encamped here. This was about 1:15 in the morning or something like that, and somebody came over and said there's a lady in distress over here. So one of the ladies here in camp, who's medically trained, she went over there and immediately put her in a recovery position. They called 911. They did all the things we're supposed to do. But where it got interesting was the first responder was actually an unmarked military ambulance who came in completely dressed in tactical gear, like a biohazard exercise. They did not follow proper medical protocol. I was a firefighter for 15 years. I know what proper protocol is. They did not follow it. They treated her like a sack of potatoes. It was extremely disturbing. Treated like a biohazard event, when actually it was a lady in crisis due to likely a combination of medications and exhaustion. I would not have handled it anywhere near like that, but interestingly enough, the tactical responders took control of the scene and the situation, and in the end, they were loading her up after they'd put her in a bio bag, and basically had they had her restrained, had her in a bio bag. She was coming conscious as they were putting into the ambulance, so I could see them unzip the bio bag.
In a bio bag?
In a bio bag. in a bio bag.
And she's alive.
And she was alive. They didn't cover her head or her face, but as she started to become conscious, they did unzip it down to her waist.
So that could be a COVID protection.
It's some sort of
Caution.
protocol that I have never seen before,
Yeah.
and I found it extremely disturbing. There was no communication with the victim. There was no attempt. There was no responsiveness testing. You know, there was nothing to communicate with the person. It was just.
And that's your observation, especially as a firefighter.
It was like a dirty bag of potatoes how they treated her.
Wow, very interesting. And you're a veteran as well?
No, I'm not a
Okay,
veteran.
sorry.
I trained with the militia. I did several years with the militia. But I've always been a huge supporter and involved with military organizations and groups as far as for fundraising all over the world. I've helped with groups in the UK and the United States as well. And we do have some actual veterans in here, so I would never take anything away from them. I swore an oath. I wore a uniform, but I never did anything with it. It wasn't my time.
Right.
So.
Well, a pleasure. I mean, a pleasure to hear, you know, your story and what's going on here and updating everybody, so we can help to inform others. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And
is there anything you want to add? Yeah.
I want people to know that this group down here is fighting for all of Canada, and we are fighting for the right to self-determination, for freedom for Canadians. And we are not relegated or segregated or pigeonholed into any one particular fight. Use this group of people. These people are directly plugged into the nation's capital, and they want to work with anybody that is fighting to expose the darkness and to shed light on the corruption and the crimes against Canadians, because Canadians deserve better.
And peacefully.
And doing it peacefully through education and welcomeness and having meaningful discussions. People have lost the art of having meaningful discussions because they're too busy on a keyboard saying anything that they want to with no repercussions. So it's an amazing transformation to see the local community embracing this.
It really is. Well, thank you again.
My pleasure. Thank you for
Let's
having
go get a glass of water because it's really hot out here.
It's starting to melt.
Cool off a little bit. Would you like to go ahead and tell us?
This is a really great initiative that's gone Canada-wide. There's more than 15 cities involved in this protest tomorrow, organizing across Canada at pretty much 12 noon in all of the major cities. There's going to be an anti-mask protest. These things are illegal. It's basically mandated murder and genocide, and the people need to stand up and fight back. So here in Ottawa, this group is joining with the Hugs Over Mask group to start a march at 11 o'clock from City Hall in Calgary up to the Parliament Hill, and let the world know that what we think about their evil tactics. And we'll be covering live if we can, and catching footage and getting the message out to everybody. And so watch for these things in your cities and communities too.
Okay, that's great. Fantastic. So you said again at 11 o'clock?
11 o'clock at City Hall in downtown Ottawa. Come and join us. I know there's probably going to be a few hundred people here. The more the merrier. And I mean, there's the masks. We had 10,000 people on the Hill in Ottawa and not a single case of COVID, so I think it's pretty safe. Come on out.
Fantastic.